Anfield before we leave you tonight on Super Sunday. Lots more from Roy Keane and Daniel Sturridge, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher as well. Pulsating contest here, which swung one way in to the other, like two old boxers fighting it out in the ring. Manchester United had the final say. Are there now green shoots at the start of this new year?
This Man United team has been widely criticised and, to be honest, completely written off before today. How about that for a response?
No, obviously criticised unfairly because the position in the table says that oh, we lost too many points. Even today, we can't be happy with the draw because we need points more than they need, to be honest. And obviously, I think it's a really good result. We could have even won the game at the end. 3-4 moments where I'm driving the ball forward. I need probably to hold up a little bit more the ball instead of trying to go for 1-2, because we know how tough it is to play against Liverpool when they win the ball and they do a big transition, because they have really fast players and really good players on the ball in the midfield to drive the ball through. With Curtis and I think Gravenberg, they probably one of the best in the league. Szoboszlai that didn't play today, and then McAllister with the more the ball, get in there and then time up the spaces for everyone to get up, and then we can play from there.
Do you think you really benefited from the training week you've had? The manager talked about you not really having the time since he's been in charge, and you've had a bit of a block this week, and it felt like we could really see that on the pitch.
Obviously it helps, but I think it's not about that. Today was about putting a real effort onto the game, playing with some passion, because this game is your art that's gonna give you something from this game. Is obviously that you have the tactics, you have the way you want to play, you have the positions where you have to be and everything. But at the end of the day, you need to put your effort in, and that's why we get something from this game today.
But lastly, it can only be the start. This has got to be continued now.
Yeah, of course, you can't stop here. That's what I was saying. And I think we have to bring this frustration to the next games, because in a good way, to understand that this is our level, this has to be our level, and if we can do it this at Anfield today, we have to do it every week.
Well played. You are the player of the match.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Bruno.
Thank you.
Well, did anybody expect that level of performance from Manchester United? I'm not sure. Put that performance in context, Roy.
Well, obviously a surprise to me. I said before the game, I just looked at the whole team. I looked at their performances recently, the lack of goals.
You gave them no chance?
Yeah, I did.
So what was different?
What Bruno just said there, they turned up. He said they showed a bit of passion. But obviously the argument to all of this stuff, and I don't want to take away from United today, is to do that in the other games. They've done it at City recently. You can't just pick and choose when you want to turn up for a game at Man United and have passion today, and it's typical questions asking the player after the match, going, well, how come you can't do it week in, week out? He's just a player himself. But when you're a senior player, the key is to turn up for every game with that passion and that quality. And they showed the quality today. And I don't think anyone would have predicted Man United probably certainly scoring 2 goals today and nearly won it at the end. Liverpool had their chances, of course they did, and I'll take my hat off to United today. They showed a bit of passion, lots of quality, a bit of fight, and they kind of showed what playing for Man United is all about. But the key is, obviously, they've got to back it up. They've got to back it up. In the next week, obviously, the Arsenal in the Cup next, they've got to turn up with the same attitude, the same level of performance, the same fighting spirit, and then you've got a chance of winning matches.
Do you think they surprised Liverpool with their level today?
Yes, but when I listened to Arne Slot's interview before the game, he said they've got the players and they've got the talent in the squad, but the performances haven't, garnered the results. And today, I think they've shown their true colours, maybe in terms of the manager's system and how they played it, and they showed a lot of fight, they showed a lot of composure on the ball, and that's been lacking in recent weeks, of course. So I think they performed to a level where the manager can be proud, the players can be proud of themselves, to say, look, like Bruno said in his interview, this is what we can be. But in turn, you have to do that every single week. You can't pick and choose against the bigger teams. You say, OK, all eyes are on us today, lads. We're going to perform and give our best games. But when you're playing against the lesser teams, when you're expected to get the results and you're expected to create things, and they don't respect you, or you don't respect them as much, That's when you got to put those teams away.
And United should come out with. I hope the message coming out from United over the next few days is also that, listen, we actually still have that belief. I know the manager spoke before the game about they're anxious and they're nervous, but the players have to come up with a message. We still believe we can turn in them type of performances. We have seen them before. The problem is they don't do it week in, week out. Far from it. They're very inconsistent. You still look at the league table and the goals against. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. But the players, you ask for honesty from your group of players, but I don't think this group of players are honest. Because if you're not putting in a performance week in, week out, there's something obviously amiss. But I think they have a chance the next few days to also play it cool. Everyone will be criticising Liverpool now, but Liverpool also, no need to panic from Liverpool's point of view. It's another point, it's another game, and listen, they could have won it themselves. But United shouldn't get too excited. As a Man United player, coming to certain stadiums, getting results, like against Man City, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and also send that message going, listen, there's still a bit of trust amongst us that we can get results.
Well, I suppose the first question United had to answer, could they get through the first half unscathed, which is what they did. All the goals came in the second period. And the next question, could they actually then break Liverpool down? How did they do that, Roy?
By taking them opportunities, and obviously by pressing and good play. And we see here, Martinez obviously getting it high up the pitch, and Bruno, we know Bruno's quality. Liverpool's defending here, they lack that little bit of intensity. Martinez, nice little side ball, and you're thinking, can you finish? Gary mentioned Giggsy's. Listen, brilliant finish into the roof of the net. Trent's probably could have done better there, but Liverpool just lack that intensity for these few seconds. You can't switch off. Look, they're just passive. They're all watching each other. Look at Bruno, look at Trent, make a tackle. Far too easy, but brilliant finish. And United, happy days, they couldn't believe it. Great reaction.
Finish was outstanding, to be fair. I didn't like the Ryan Giggs shout, though, because he only beat about 9 players for his goal. But, I mean, it was a fantastic finish. To do that as a defender as well, like, the power on it.
Do you think that's what he's just concentrating on in this position?
For sure. And I think when you got that time to think what you're going to do, it's almost like, some players, snatch at it or whatever it may be, but the concentration he showed as a defender, defenders can't score goals, but that's an absolutely top draw finish.
Are you thinking if you hit through this flush, you're beating most keepers, whether they are world class or not?
Yeah, I think the modern players, the power on the balls, I think if you do get great connection on like you did, it is very difficult to stop.
But it sparked something in Liverpool as well. That lead for Manchester United, as joyous as it was for them in that moment, lasted just 7 minutes, Daniel.
It sure did, yeah. And I think, in these moments, as Man United, you want to try and now gain a bit of control and calm yourselves down. But you see here, the ball from Callister was brilliant, and De Ligt is sliding in there. He's going up against his teammate. See Ugarte's position in here, of course, but for Gakpo to chop De Ligt there in the box, he shouldn't be sliding in like that. But the finish, wow! I mean, the ability he showed here, but just this moment here where it's like you don't need to be sliding in. You should also know your mate is your national team teammate. So you're thinking...
Probably why he's desperate to stop him
exactly
in the first
that.
place.
But the finish, wow.
Yeah, I think we sometimes forget, obviously we finished a few years ago, the power now that these players have in the shot is just unstoppable.
Just on that, if you're De Ligt in that position, what should you be doing rather than diving in like that? Because everyone said you shouldn't be doing it, but what should you actually do?
Your mindset should be, obviously you've got to try and stop the shot, but also thinking if you work with him at international level, know that he's capable of cutting back as well. So you've got to multitask. Don't just sell yourself. Because it's still a hell of an angle. If you stop it, if he thinks he's going to shoot from there, you've got to say, you've got to beat my keeper from there.
Yep.
But because he opens it up, obviously, and then it's game over, unless he's going to hit the target.
I'm not a defender, right? But he's a right-footed winger playing on the left. I want to go on my right foot. That's where I want to go. If you show me line, I have to cross it. But if you give me the opportunity to cut inside, the whole goal is there for me.
Yeah, he should obviously want him shooting with his left from there and to go. You fancy beating our goalkeeper from there? No, but as soon as he cuts back in, he's in trouble. But United never got set properly when they cleared it from the first free kick.
Smart finish from Gakpo, and a poor few minutes in truth for Matthias de Ligt, who's then penalised for a handball 10 minutes after that. Do you think it's just instinct to this position, Daniel?
Yeah, it's a strange position for his arm to be in, which is obviously why the penalty was given. It seems like a reaction, almost like, he turns his back a little bit and his arm goes up. It's unfortunate for him, obviously, because he didn't mean to do it, but it happens. Your arms are going to go in places they shouldn't be. And in the box as a defender, it's important for you to not leave your arms in positions like that.
Deemed to be in an unnatural position. I'm not sure
as soon as the referee
obviously
goes over, of course, a penalty. It's harsh, but it's the right decision.
Yeah.
It's tough on him.
And there was quite the quite the kerfuffle before the penalty. We knew who was going to take it. It was just a matter of when he was going to get the ball in his hands.
Of course. And the keeper got his hand to it as well. You know, but the power of Mo is never in doubt, was it? Mo is that guy, man. He really is that
goal
guy.
against Manchester United.
He's him.
He's 31 goal involvements already this season. The celebration was quite something as well. It went on for about 3 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, I know, yeah, but you got to lap it up, haven't you? You know what I mean? Look at the smile on his face, man. Look at the smile on his face. He's just like, yeah, you know who I am. You know what I do. You know it's me again.
It's amazing. We talk about him a lot, but there's not many players out in world football who can guarantee you the amount of goals and assists he gets. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, there we go. Lap it up again. Just smile. Enjoy
well, is he lapping it up because it's not going to last for too much longer, Daniel?
I don't think so, man. I don't know. I just feel as if he's enjoying himself more than I've seen in the last few years, and I think he's just enjoying it. I think this is the moment where
a bit over the top when he sits down, but we laugh.
Yeah, that was a bit extra though. I can't even lie. That was a little bit extra.
It was amazing the contrast, actually, the silence before he stepped up to take the kick to the roar when that went in, and huge relief around Anfield. But another twist in the game, because the roar with 10 minutes to go came purely from the Manchester United section. And this was their first shot since they actually scored, Roy.
Yeah, of course. And they recovered well. And you're talking about Liverpool stopping crosses. You're talking about opposite fullbacks tucking in, opposite wingers getting in. So United just about deserved this, just from being tenacious against sub coming on. Robertson will be disappointed. They'll be disappointed with the cross there. I talk about intensity and just smelling danger. And Robertson just on his heels. But like all good wide players, coming in from the opposite side. Does he hit it cleanly? Just enough connection on it. And again, nobody saw that.
Do you think Ahmad's got something going on, Daniel?
He sure does.
A player that United can build around?
Yeah, he's growing in confidence, and I think this is probably the first time where he feels like he's a Manchester United player, and he feels as if a manager trusts his abilities.
And what difference does that make to you as a footballer?
I think you get to play your game, and I don't think you doubt yourself when you're going on the pitch thinking, I could be coming off at 55 minutes here, so I've got to do everything in 45. And I think as a young player specifically, when you start getting games and you realise the manager's starting to trust you, then you start to realise, like, okay, I am supposed to be here. This is my moment. I can take shots when I want. I can dribble. And the players are trusting him too, which is good. And you can see that he feels like, okay, I'm the man now. You know, I'm going to be playing next week. I have to perform though, and in the big games against Manchester City, he's shown up, and today against Liverpool, he's shown up again.
Like all good players, he's affecting games. That's what good players do. You remember him after the game. You remember him doing something, and every time he plays now, he comes off the pitch. You go, listen, I like that.
Yeah.
There were still chances to win this game for either side. That was not the end of the action by any means. First, it was Liverpool striking out, trying to find another winning goal. You think, Daniel, that they had the sense they were going to win this?
They did, and firstly, that was a fantastic challenge by Euro. Great challenge by the young defender. Good ability here. I thought he was going to cross this, but it was actually a shot, which was...
You're confident he's shooting here?
Yeah, for sure. Because when you see... I'm looking at it from thinking, you should be cutting this back. You've got players open. But if you look at this, he's actually seen the keeper in the corner of his eyes thinking, I'm going to try a cheeky shot here. Is he going to gamble? He doesn't gamble. It was a good save from the goalkeeper.
Brilliant.
Then Virgil van Dijk from the set piece.
We spoke about United.
Stretching a bit, Roy.
Yeah, his movement is actually brilliant. If you watch him here, he's like a proper striker. Obviously, he's getting wrestled there. But just a little step here. Look, everyone else is looking at it. He's on the move, just stretching for it. And unlucky, we know how United are poor defending corners. That was a huge moment.
Well, it wasn't the only huge moment left in the game. At this point, I think everyone's looking to see when the whistle was going to be blown. But there was still one final twist in this game. What a ball that turned out to be as well at the back.
We'll pretend he meant it. But Xerxes, he gets in his position. He ends up doing the right thing.
Do you think he ever thought about shooting Xerxes in the first instance?
I'm not sure. But if you look at the angle, I think the pass he ends up giving
Would it
Maguire.
have been tight, the offside call,
Maybe we give him the benefit of the doubt. Listen, his confidence wouldn't be sky high after getting taken off the other night. So
what about the ball he plays into Maguire?
Do you know what? I don't care. Daniel's saying you can give him a better pass. Listen, know your players. He's not going to give you his confidence is sky high.
What do you mean by it, Daniel?
Just don't bobble it into him. You've got all the time in the world to cut the ball back with Premier League footballers playing for Manchester United.
Yeah, and he's passing it to a Premier. You're passing to an England international player.
You've got to just
know
keep
your players.
the ball.
But when it's coming to you, know your players. He's not going to give you the perfect pass. Expect the bobble into you. But what you have to do when and obviously it's Harry Maguire.
I'm not expecting a bubble into me. If you're in that position,
I would from him. I would. You'd have to. Again, it's called knowing your players. He's not going to zip it into you perfectly, is it? But you got to hit the target, Harry. No problem.
It's a 3-yard
We saw
pass,
players
yeah.
earlier in the day. Today, you said about strikers, just hit the target hard. No, hit the target. If it
passed
gets
it.
blocked, it's no problem.
Fair enough.
We saw Ipswich in the
Don't buy
first
out.
game.
No, because he passed it as if he was cutting back like he was going to shoot. And it's like, you're a player who can just simply keep the ball on the ground.
Yeah, but
and it's a goal.
he's not that good. His confidence is not that high.
Confidence has got
It's
to
not
be
about
shot, hasn't it,
confidence.
Daniel?
It's not about confidence. We're talking about an international football player. I'm not piling onto Xerxes here saying, look, you know, you're miles off it.
If
this
that
and
ball came to you, would you fancy your chances hitting the target?
Yes, of course I would.
But he's not Harry Maguire.
I'm not Harry Maguire.
That's my
That's
point.
the point.
So someone has to go on Harry Maguire a little bit. You're not going to get the perfect pass, literally last kick of the game. If you get that in training, you go, listen, hit the target. I don't care if it's Harry Maguire is an international player. If Harry was sitting here, you go, what do you think, Harry? You go, I should hit the target. 100%, whatever. About the pass not being 100%, right?
I've missed loads of those in training and in games.
I'm surprised at that.
No, for real.
When his head hits the pillow tonight, I mean, Harry Maguire
Harry,
is
of
going to be
course.
thinking about that.
You'll be
isn't
gutted,
he?
100%.
It'll be a big pillow as
100%.
well, I'm telling you. Now, Harry's done well. I don't want to be knocking him. You're going, listen, and it's easy when you're sitting up here watching it. But what you'd say to him is, get over it and hit the target. And Harry's scored goals before. It's not
Technique
as if he
would have
doesn't
been
know.
side volley.
Side-
I reckon.
Yeah,
That's
let's
what
not
he
be
was
too hard
saying.
on Harry. Hit the target.
If anything, you go side volley. He went side foot. But we're talking about defenders. That's why I said.
So was I right then?
No,
right. We got there in the end.
I'm saying Martinez on the other side. If that falls to Martinez, maybe it's a goal.
What a moment at the end of a sensational second half here at Anfield. Let's get some Liverpool reaction now. Alexis McAllister with Patrick Davison.
Well, Alexis, when you're as good as you guys are and you drop points, obviously disappointing. How did you see the game itself and the performance?
Yeah, the result is not good enough. The performance wasn't as good as we wanted. But yeah, at the end it was a fair result. I think we didn't play as we wanted. We conceded too many chances. We had our opportunities to score more goals, but that's football, and I think it's a fair result.
Why was the performance not quite as you wanted, do you think?
I don't know. I think the effort was there, the mentality was there because we came back. But when you are winning 2-1, 75 minutes, you have to defend better, and we didn't do it. So yeah, have to think about it, improve the things that we did wrong, and move on.
It was almost like it took to go 1-0 down to really spark you to your best level. Would you agree? Yeah, and I think it happened many times to us. I think we started games where we are losing, and after that we react. So that's not what we want. So that's why I say that these are the things that we have to think about it and improve. But at the end, it's football. As I said, the effort was there, the mentality is there. So we are not worried at all. I wonder if the noise around the match today was quite difficult to deal with. There was a lot of, Liverpool won't just win; they'll win big. And for a player, it's not a great mindset to be in, is it? And I'm sure you weren't, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I think that's the way football is. That's the way the show is, and that's as I say, it's the show. We don't think about it. We just try to do our job to win games. And as I said, today it wasn't our best day, so that's why we couldn't win.
Thank you.
Thank you very
All the
much.
best. Take care.
More reaction to come from both camps.
Business once more on the back of that very important equaliser. 1-1. So deflection, and it will be a throw-in. Well, what can they do to stop him running at them? Romeo Lavia. And there it is, the half-time whistle. So the beginning of the second half here at Stamford Bridge. Possession one. Mudryk. Being egged on by the crowd. And a goal! advantage. Just look at the celebrations. Palmer.